The 2024 NBA Draft is only a few days away, and I thought it would be a fun idea to create a mock draft for the first time in my channel's history. Usually, what I like to do here is when a specific player piques my interest, I will make a single, in-depth video called Prospect Watch about said player. But the reality is, I just don't make a lot of these videos. I don't have a lot of time to devote to studying to make a good 10 to 15 minute long video like that at this point in my life. And I decided I wanted to take some time to make some videos that are a little bit less serious, and I think a good way to do that would be to make a mock draft like I'm doing here today. Now, this mock draft is a bit of a prediction video rather than necessarily what I would do for each and every team. I went through 9 different big name websites as well as countless YouTuber mock drafts to get an idea of what each player's realistic range is, and I have concluded nobody knows how this is going to go down, and I think that makes it a lot of fun. Before we dive in, please like the video as it helps me out way more than I think you guys realize, and subscribe if you want to watch more basketball related content. On this channel, I mostly cover the NBA, but I also love international ball, and I plan on covering it more going forward. Now, let us get going. With the first overall pick, the Atlanta Hawks will select Zachary Risache. Easily one of the least hyped number 1 overall picks I have ever seen, but still a good-sized shooter, shot creator, and theoretically a good defensive player. Nobody is talking about Risache one day being an all-star, but with Atlanta, I think he will blossom into the best version of himself. We already know Atlanta's deal. They are a pretty good team, but they barely missed the playoffs last year. One of either Trae Young or DeJounte Murray appears to be on the move this summer. Regardless of who it is, I think the 2 through 4 combination of Jalen Johnson, DeAndre Hunter, and Risache will be a terrific lineup. All 3 of them are right around 6'9", can defend multiple positions, have a good long shot, and can put the ball on the floor. Risache may not produce a ton in year 1, as he will easily be the 4th fiddle on offense in the starting lineup, but he is going to immediately be in an environment with the goal of winning, which I believe has a very good impact on player development. With the 2nd overall pick, the Washington Wizards select Alex Sarr. Over the past few weeks, we have witnessed Sarr drop almost unanimously from 1 to 2. But I believe this team makes the most sense on paper. Washington is in dire need of a true center. Sarr is big enough, athletic, and has pro experience. I believe he most likely will be a starter day 1, which means he will get plenty of court time to work out his skills, but I am not as high on him as most people are covering the draft. I get that he is built like how Americans dream their centers be built. Tall, long, lean, athletic, rim runners, pick and roll finishers, lob catchers, and shot blockers. That is what Americans think they want, but how many centers who fit this mold actually turn out to be great NBA players? Call me a hater, but I remember James Wiseman, Jackson Hayes, Mo Bamba, Marquise Chris, Willie Cauley-Stein, Alex Len, etc. I am worried about that 29% three-point shot, 71% foul shot, and his very skinny frame. I know he just played in the NBL, which is a respected high-level pro league with NBA talent, but before that, he opted to play 2 years in the OTE, which has an unproven player development history. I would love to see Sarr reach his full potential, but I'm worried about Washington's player development track record. With the 3rd overall pick, the Houston Rockets select Reed Sheppard. Of the first 3 picks, Sheppard is the best basketball player, hands down. He has an elite understanding of the game as seen with his court vision, passing, ball handling, and of course, the big moneymaker, shot making. Sheppard shot an unheard of 52% from 3 in college on 3.5 tries a night. That is video game level efficiency, and he did this as the point guard, which means a lot of his looks were off the dribble or on a sprint, catch, and shoot. But he is small at only 6'2", which unfortunately hurts his draft stock more than anything. However, his athleticism actually ranked him 1st in the entire class, as he boasted a 42-inch vertical. Not that that necessarily matters on the court, as he won't be finishing high above the rim often, but it is a number that helps his draft stock in an American hyper-athlete focused league. Houston already has Fred VanVleet and Jalen Green at the guard positions, so Shepherd will be coming off the bench initially, but that is not a problem. Having the opportunity to learn the pro game in a less pressured role behind an excellent role model in the equally undersized Fred VanVleet is a perfect situation for him. With the 4th overall pick, the San Antonio Spurs select Devin Carter. Here I am going against the grain a bit, but I am trying to make a galaxy brain move here. I believe the Spurs franchise wants a point guard more than anything else, as their biggest issue this past year was that position. Even if they plan to fix this vacancy in free agency, I still believe they are going to want to invest in a good young player at the 1. There are a few guys mocked in the lottery who play the point guard, but of them all, I believe Carter is the best available. Carter has excellent court vision, can knock down the long ball at an above average clip on a high shot volume, and is much stronger and more refined than most guys playing this position, seen in his 56% two-point shot. Plus, not that it necessarily matters a whole lot, but at 6'3", he managed 8 rebounds per game in college, which illustrates his willingness to do the little things like boxing out, which we all know the Spurs franchise has built dynasties on the back of doing those sort of little things. I think Carter makes the most sense of anyone being picked here. With the 5th overall pick, the Detroit Pistons select Mataz Buzelis. This may be the most locked down selection across anyone's mock draft board. Buzelis is a G League Ignite product, which has a very shaky history, unfortunately, and he didn't blow anyone away this past year, but he has a very good foundation for an NBA player. He stands a terrific 6'10" for the forward role. He is very mobile and coordinated, as seen with his shot creation ability off the dribble, and he can defend multiple positions, plus his agent has ties to the Detroit franchise. Detroit currently only has a single player locked down in my eyes for their long-term future in their point guard Cade Cunningham. After that, anyone could be improved upon, but the forward positions are definitely their biggest weaknesses. Buzelis will get court time immediately in Detroit, which means he will be thrown into the fire, and we will see how he handles it. With the 6th overall pick, the Charlotte Hornets select Stephon Castle. Here are the pros to this selection. Castle has great size as a point guard, standing 6'6", possesses good athleticism, and can finish in crowds well. He also is a tried and tested winner in the college scene, as his UConn Huskies won the national championship. Charlotte is desperate to add a winner to their miserable franchise. But here are the cons. Castle is not a good shooter, only knocking down 26% of his threes in college, which is well below the Mendoza line. He also plays the point guard role, and if you ask him, he is an obligate point guard who does not have any interest in playing off ball. Plus, his skills do not suit playing off ball. Charlotte already has LaMelo Ball on their team, who is one of the best point guards in all of the NBA when healthy. So this fit will be weird, and I am not really sure what to expect. If Ball is hurt for weeks at a time again, then I suppose it would be fine, but ideally you aren't drafting with the plan for your best player to be gone half the year. Either way, I don't see any world where Charlotte passes on Castle, because they will just take the best player via the consensus, and Castle will be the best player available if he falls this far. With the 7th overall pick, the Portland Trailblazers selected Donovan Clingan. A lot of people are in love with Clingan going to Portland, a fact that I am sure DeAndre Ayton feels a certain way about, but let's forget him. Clingan has top 1% NBA size at 7'2", and he already is filled out beyond his years, weighing in at over 260 pounds. Beyond just being big though, he can move his feet well around the paint, he can defend without fouling, and he can finish around the rim super well. I am not in love with Portland's point guard situation, as Scoot Henderson looked beyond shaky in year 1, but if he can hone his skills, learn to use his left hand, start knocking down in some twos, then that will create passing opportunities to bring out the best in their young teammates, especially Clingan on the inside. Either way, Clingan will be a huge upgrade defensively for this young team. With the 8th overall pick, the San Antonio Spurs select Dalton Knecht. The National Player of the Year runner-up, Knecht is NBA ready right now. At 6'6", He can play either the 2 or 3, which San Antonio definitely needs, and Connect is an elite three-way scorer of the ball in all of long range, mid-range, and around the rim. He also is a more than willing rebounder, defender, and overall do whatever the team needs type of player. Like Carter, who I mocked the Spurs picking earlier, Connect is a player who fits their franchise archetype perfectly. He was a junior college player 4 years ago, then had to earn his stripes in the Big Sky Conference before finally being believed in and given court time on a major college team. San Antonio would love having a guy like him. With the 9th overall pick, the Memphis Grizzlies select Kel'el Ware. Most mocks have Ware outside the lottery, but not all of them, so I do not think this is too crazy a pick. In my eyes, I view Ware as the better prospect than Sar right now. Both are the exact same size and play the same role. Ware is just 1 year older, but let's not pretend a 20-year-old is anything close to a finished product. Ware is tall, long, and super athletic, which Americans adore, but he has also shown an elite shot blocking skill, throwing away almost 2 a night in college, and he is an elite finisher at the rim, including off the dribble, knocking down 60% of his twos. And the biggest plus to his game is he shot 42% from deep, which is better than most guards I have picked ahead of him. Ware is the refined 20-year-old prospect Sar hopes to be. I think Memphis would love to land him with the 9th overall pick. The Grizzlies lack a true center going into next season, and being a win-now team, they are in desperate need of one. They will likely seek out another center in free agency, but Ware may end up being in their opening night starting 5, and I would love to see that. With the 10th overall pick, the Utah Jazz select Cody Williams. Utah is a tweener team at this very moment. They have some terrific win-now talent, a couple promising but still unproven young players, and virtually no depth. This summer, I expect them to make a few moves to fix their depth issue, as they hopefully will try to make the postseason next year. Williams, I am not sure will get a ton of playing time right away depending on how free agency goes, but as a prospect, he is a good investment. He has okay size at 6'7", he's a modest athlete, but he is still very lean, raw on defense, and though he didn't score a lot in college, he was at least an efficient shooter, knocking down 58% of his twos and 41% of his threes, but he shot less than 2 threes a game. I think the fact that his older brother is who he is has skyrocketed his value, and that may be a case of nepotism and it might be foolish, but I think Utah taking him here would be a solid pick. With the 11th overall pick, the Chicago Bulls select Tijane Salon. The Bulls are an odd franchise. Despite being one of the most beloved and well-known around the planet, they actually are not run very well. Their only 2 instances of relevancy are when they landed Michael Jordan and a brief Derrick Rose era. Lately, they have been the definition of mediocre. They are not willing to blow up their team, but they are also just not doing a good job putting winning pieces together. No matter what you think of these names, they will be running 4 sure thing guards next year in Zach LaVine, Josh Giddey, Kobe White, and Ayo Dosunmu. Plus, Lonzo Ball is supposedly also trying to return. This win-now franchise does not need a guard. I also don't see a center mocked high enough on any of the big name boards for me to assume they will select them. So I'm left with them taking the best forward available, who is also the youngest and widely touted to be the most raw player in the draft, Salon. Playing in the French Pro League, Salon has had to earn court opportunities, which I like, and playing overseas, he has been taught and understands the game very well. He is very good playing off ball on both ends. He also knows what to do, even if he can't quite actually do it very efficiently yet. And with his size at 6'9" with long arms, he should fill out and become an ideal NBA forward. I think in 3 to 5 years, he will be a pretty good player and actually contribute to winning. With the 12th overall pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Yves Missy. The Thunder had a spectacular team last year, but their biggest weakness the whole season was their lack of NBA caliber size at the 5. Chet Holmgren was a spectacular player, but he is a 4, no matter how you slice it. He's just not big enough. They need someone who can man the middle defensively and rebound, plus keep up with them up and down the floor while setting good screens and catching lobs. Missy is designed exactly for this role. Of course, no mock draft I could find had him landing in the lottery, but to me, this pick makes more sense than them taking another wing or a guard to clog up their already overflowing with young talent rotation. They might as well take a player who fits what they need. Even if Missy can't immediately hang, he is surely going to have situations where his presence is advantageous, and he should get better with time, which will help this team as they continue to get better. With the 13th overall pick, the Sacramento Kings select Ron Holland. Some people had Holland as high as within the top 4, others had him lower than I have him here. He is a big question mark of a prospect in many people's eyes due to his very noticeable pros and cons. Sacramento will surely love having a wing who can defend 1 through 4 with good athleticism and length. Plus, even more importantly, he averaged over 3 stocks per game in the G League as a 19-year-old. His strength and athleticism helped him score inside the arc at 53% against pros. But the cons are significant. Holland is a terrible shooter, only hitting 23% of his threes. And the Ignite team was atrocious in 2024, winning only 2 total games. A losing mentality, non-shooting shooting wing is a terrible descriptor of a lottery pick. That is why his value is so shaky. I believe Sacramento will convince themselves they can fix this though, given that Holland won't play a ton since they are contending hopefully. Practice with win now veteran role models hopefully will help improve his weaknesses and bring out his full potential. With the 14th overall pick, the Portland Trailblazers select Rob Dillingham. As I said earlier, Portland has a good cast of off-ball players in Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, and Jeremy Grant, and potentially a good center in Klingon, but their biggest problem is at the 1 with Scoot Henderson. It would be stupid to bench him and tank his value, but I don't think it would be a foolish idea to draft some competition to remind him that an NBA career is earned, not given. Dillingham was for a short while a top 4 pick in almost every mock, but due to the skyrocketing ascension of his teammate, Dillingham's poor defense and him being very small at only 6'2", 176 pounds, many scouts are worried about him getting bullied in the league, especially inside the arc and on defense. If he can continue his sharp shooting, which already is an elite 44% from long range, as well as hone his ball handling and passing skills, he may be the best fit for the Blazers team. I really like the idea of him in Portland. Now we are outside the lottery. With the 15th overall pick, the Miami Heat select Tyler Kolek. Miami always is attempting to compete. They have a very well-run organization with very good coaching. Even without a real point guard on their team the past couple of years, they have been a team to fear out east. Kolek potentially will fill this role of desperate need. In college, he boasted shot creation ability for both him and others, managing a staggering 7 assists per game, which is almost unheard of in college. He can knock down the long shot, finish inside the arc despite being smaller and lighter than most of his opponents, and though he is not a versatile defensive player, he is a good perimeter defensive player. Upperclassmen are adored by Miami thanks to them knowing what it takes to improve, compete, and do the little things, and perfect the details of the game. Kolek is a perfect candidate to be a Miami player. With the 16th overall pick, the Philadelphia 76ers select Tristan da Silva. Mocked as low as the second round and as high as the lottery, da Silva is the exact type of player Philadelphia would want to add to their literal 3-man roster. They have a point guard and a center, pretty much, that's it. Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid are the faces of the team, plus Paul Reed is a backup 5. Everyone else needs to be filled in through free agency. With their surprisingly high first-round pick, they want to add a forward who can contribute to this team sooner rather than later. They do not have time left in Embiid's prime to develop a project. It is now or never. Not to say Da Silva is going to start for them, but I believe he will at least be a backup forward right away. In college, he showed he could score inside as well as knock down catch and shoot threes. He is also a skilled passer, though not getting a ton of opportunities in that role he played. He is not an elite athlete, but the reality is that likely does not matter a ton if his skills are high enough, which I think they will be. With the 17th overall pick, the LA Lakers select Jared McCain. LA obviously has some very good high-end talent, but virtually no NBA caliber depth beyond the first five. The biggest hole in their actual rotation is at the 2, and McCain is the purest shooting guard you could imagine. With Duke as a one and done, he shot the long ball at an elite 41% clip on 5 tries a night. He is not very big, nor is he a great athlete, nor is he a versatile defender, but he can shoot. If he can knock down the NBA long ball as a catch and shoot role player, he will get minutes and he will help their team. This is not a huge needle moving type pick for LA, but it is the pick I believe they will make at this position, and I think McCain will do his job well in the NBA. With the 18th overall pick, the Orlando Magic select Kyle Filipowski. Orlando was a surprise team last year as their young core of players outperformed mainstream media's expectations, although I will say that I had them actually making the playoffs. Paolo Banchero is the real deal, and they are stacked with promising guards in Franz Wagner, Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, and Anthony Black. The 5 spot, though, is a bit shaky as Mo Wagner was their best player in the role last year. I believe Filipowski will play the same role as Wagner, but he has a potentially higher ceiling. At least he has shown flashes of it on offense. Now, he is not the defensive player Mo or Wendell Carter Jr. are, but hopefully he can learn from those two. With the 19th overall pick, the Toronto Raptors select Zach Edey. This right here may be the best pick in the entire class. No matter how you slice it, Edey is the best basketball player among anyone being picked. Being 7'4" though, and playing a mostly back to the basket game, he has a stigma that he will not fit in the modern NBA. But the reality is, he measured to be faster and more agile than either Sarr or Klingon. When faced up with future NBA talent in the college season, Edey put up monstrous numbers in victories. In practice and in a little bit of FIBA play, Edey has shown he can shoot the long ball all the way out to the NBA three-point range. And he is a winner through and through as he took a very mediocre Purdue team all the way to the championship final. Toronto has plenty of wings. They need a 5 who can produce offensively. Edey will do this. Plus, being a Canadian, you know him playing in front of that Toronto fan base will be electric. And to wrap up this video with the 20th overall pick, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Nikola Topic. The past few weeks have been very not kind to Topic's draft stock. He went from a contender for the top 4 all the way down to unanimously missing the lottery. And this is due to an injury above all else, which I think we all need to take a step back and realize something. ACL tears are not career ending, not even close to it. Topic will be back on his feet playing ball like he used to within a year. He has great size for a point guard at 6'6", can orchestrate and create looks for himself and his teammates, and has plenty of high-level experience, having spent 3 years in the ABA, which is a league featuring pro teams from the basketball powerhouse region formerly known as Yugoslavia. There is a lot of questions currently being asked about Cleveland's basketball future. Many people think the writing is on the wall for both Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland to be leaving. I don't know how true these rumors are, but investing in what could be the best point guard in this class would certainly be a safe thing to do right now for the Cavaliers. And there you have it, my mock draft 2024. I decided to call it at 20 picks because I just feel like that's plenty and my voice is getting tired. Plus, I got through the guys that I really wanted to talk about and knew at least something about. Please leave your comments down below letting me know what you think. Who do you think should have been selected higher or lower? Who did I overhype or understate? Who are you hoping your team gets? I want to read your comments. I'm sorry if you can hear the noise of the air conditioner. That's just how it is in my house. It is hot right now. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe for more content, and I will see you all next time.